In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to swap out the suspension on your E-Moto. I'm going to be doing it on my Talaria XXX with this R-Floxa Hawk 32 front fork. Although it wouldn't be that different if you're doing this on a Sur-Ron or with a different front fork like a Fast Ace. I already did a riding review on this fork, so if you're interested in that, please check out my other video, as well as the link to this fork in the description. But let's waste no more time and let's get straight into the process. And if you're new to my channel, this is my Talaria XXX. I run a 21-inch front wheel and a 17-inch rear, running a Shinko 241 in the back and this knobby in the front. Do you have direct mount handlebars, pegs, axle block, just some of the better comfort mods. So to make things a little bit more secure, I have put a strap onto the swing arm down onto the stand, which is going to hold the bike from tipping forwards or back on us as we're working on it today. First thing we got to do is remove the front wheel. So we're going to start with loosening these up. There we go. Make sure not to lose your spacers for the wheels. Next thing we're gonna do is remove the brakes. So I gotta cut these zip ties, holding it on first. And this is a 5mm. Next up, we're removing the handlebars. I have a direct mount, so I just need to take out these 4 bolts and this will just come off. We're gonna re-cable manage this later. And we're going to unplug everything as well. This just lifts away and is connected with a single wire. It is one of those connectors you gotta press down in here to pull it out. So don't just try and pull this straight out. I also have a Warp 9 stem lock, so this may be a little bit different on your bike. I already cracked it loose, so I want to make sure this was the right tool. It is, but for this, I just gotta... And this is what a stem lock looks like. This is titanium grease that's on this. That way it doesn't corrode and seize. And just like that, the front fork is almost off. Now I believe all we need to do is loosen up the top of the triple tree, and this should just drop off the bike. One front fork off. Now we got to get this bearing out. Next, we're gonna have to remove this headset bearing. I've never done this before and I don't want to damage anything, so we're just gonna try and pry this up with a screwdriver, and it's actually moving super easy, so I don't think that's hard. Headset bearing removed. along with a bunch of bushings and stuff. It has some dirt and grit in it, so I'm just gonna wipe it all off, and I'm gonna apply some new, fresh, clean grease to this thing before we install it on our new fork. Just as a note, I did put the fork all the way back together. I had to loosen this up to get this clamp back on, but I wanted to make sure that this fork was fully put together. That way, if I ever need to recycle it for a different project. Put these shims on. Put the Talaria head. Press this little sleeve onto here. And then we're going to take this and just slide this onto the bottom. I don't really have a tool for pressing this on, so I'm just going to grease this up and put it on the bike. And when we tighten down our direct mount, it should clamp this part on. Let's just take some of this blue grease that we got with a different bike. We're just going to kind of smear this all in here. I'm no expert, so leave a comment down below if I'm not supposed to do that, but I figured it's probably not a bad idea. Oops. I'm just gonna lightly tighten this top clamp on just to hold it while I get the rest in place. Next, we're gonna take our stem lock. Then we're just gonna try and tighten this on nice and carefully. The bearing is not completely seated yet. So this wasn't sitting quite flush in here, so I just took a hammer and just kind of hit it in. Now it seems to be seated well, so we got to readjust this top post, then tighten this back down. We're going to try and tighten this down at the same time. Now we have no up and down movement. We'll tighten this on real good now. By the way, this fork does have torque specs on basically all these, but I don't have a torque wrench, so we're just gonna guesstimate. There we go, we're looking good so far. Now we're putting the direct mount back onto the bike. So we got our riser plate, handlebar. This will be fun. Now we're going to start reconnecting the connectors. So you want to match up the colors, and there's little arrows on the connector because you don't want to bend the pins when you plug them in. Oh, these are the brake sensors, so we're going to make sure these are halfway plugged in because we don't want those active. Don't like brake sensors. Well, I forgot that the Talaria XXX headlight has these that mount under the direct mount, so I gotta take that back off. Something of note before we put the front wheel on is this axle only goes in from one side. It is wider on this side, and this part goes into here, so it has to come in from the left. As you see, this area is bigger than this one. But let's get the wheel on. Start with a little lube. It's more than we need. See if my 21-inch front wheel fits. Oh, wheel spacers. That might help. Gotta wipe off some of this excess grease. This side is an 8mm. Alright, now we're basically on the final step. We just have to mount our brake caliper back onto the bike. I had to switch to this tool so I didn't accidentally cross thread this bolt, because there's not enough clamps for my normal tools. One trick for aligning your brake caliper is if you hold the brake in, the brake will kind of settle where it wants to sit. You can kind of crank it down while you have the brake pulled. Make sure to tighten these pretty well. You don't want to lose your brake while you're riding. All right, that is everything. I have the bike off of the stand, but I need to zip tie the brake line. We're gonna run it on the inside. We have this convenient cable managing route. That just clamps into here. Then we need a little flathead to loosen this to run the cable through here as well.
And that's it. It's actually a pretty easy process to swap out your front forks, and it doesn't really take any specialized tools. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, hit that subscribe button down below, and go check out my riding video on this fork if you want to see the performance of this budget $600 suspension. Spoilers, it completely transforms the bike with this on there. But thank you for watching to the end of the video, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye now.